YCS over the weekend. Two of them we're going to focus mainly on YCS ATL because just the results were just shocking. I mean, no one anywhere can honestly say they expected Gravekeepers to win, except for maybe Fraser Smith. Congratulations. You and your teammates were the ones who built and ran that deck, and I congratulate you. First, want to give some quick shout outs. First shout out is to Jarrell Pro Winston. Really nice guy. I've been talking to him lately. I'm going to see if I can get him to do a video with me for my channel and get some of his takes on the competitive meta and stuff like that. And hopefully he'll agree to do that. Shout out number 2 is to a very nice guy, OSUS3D. Sorry, can't think of that off the top of my head. Very good channel, videos, trade binders, a lot of stuff that people are interested in watching. You guys should really go check him out, and he really needs the help getting subscribers, building up his name and brand. And then third is my friends at Team HOC 2009. These guys are really good. They're based out of Idaho, and they just have a lot of excellent videos, regionals, and deck profiles and stuff like that. And I really want them to be successful and to improve on their channel and get a whole bunch of views and partnership and all that other good stuff. So guys, please check them out. Okay, so the main thing we're going to talk about in this video, obviously, Gravekeepers and Necrovalley, and just how it is that they achieved so much success at the last YCS. I'm actually going to turn the camera because I've got some cards set up here so that you guys can see what I'm seeing, and I can explain some of the cards that I have down. Alright guys, as you can see right here, we've got Necrovalley and Guard. I couldn't actually find my spies. I swear it should be in my good common pile of and I've always noted to be like a card that I never trade because I always thought it was a very competitive card throughout formats and different texts. Anyways, so Gravekeepers. First off, you have to say they definitely had the element of surprise going for them. Necrovalley has always been one of those funky cards that kind of messes with a lot of decks. If you look at the top decks in the meta, and you just said Blackwing, Sabers, and Debris, well, you know, it can shut off a key card in each deck, or maybe a couple. It obviously stops Value and Blizzard in the Blackwing matchup. And against Sabers, you know, it turns Fall Troll into just a normal summon, and I'm really not convinced that X Sabers can, you know, like go blow for blow with you and beat you if they don't have Fall Troll. And then it shuts down the Debris Dragon, which is, you know, basically has it lets the deck do its most potent plays, and Plant Synchro and Debris and all those different named decks. Not just that, but you know, you shut down key other cards in those decks. You know, you shut down Pot of Avarice, you shut down Gotham's E-Call, you shut down Monster Reborn, which everything except for Gravekeepers are main decking. But you know, let's talk about why some of the reasons why Gravekeepers were able to do that. I mean, the element of surprise is great, but it can only take you so far. At the end of the day, you do have to have a good and competitive deck, and that's what Frazier and his boys were able to basically do. First off, they got a Goblin Zombie like card. You can call it a Dark Soul like card, but you know, it is kind of the Goblin Zombie effect. If you guys remember when Goblin Zombie first came out and Zombies first had it, a duelist actually took Zombies to top 4 when Goblin Zombie first came out. That was in Dad Return format, and that was the jump that Glads won during the Dad Return format. But it just showed you the impact of the card and the ability to search, you know, anything in the archetype basically. As Recruiter, I mean, it searches everything except for Spy. In fact, they don't even play Guard anymore. It's such an amazing card, but the deck doesn't even need to play it anymore. And what makes Recruiter so good is because Gravekeeper's biggest problem before was the fact that, yeah, you could essentially have 6 Necrovalleys, even though it had been said for days that 2 was technically more consistent because you didn't have to worry about ever drawing a dead one. But if you didn't draw your Commandants or your Valley, your 5 copies essentially, you were kind of fucked because the deck couldn't really stand alone and be competitive without the card on the field, which it basically meant that a card like Royal Tribute wasn't really an option. It meant that you weren't getting your big attack boost all the time, so you weren't really getting to put pressure on your opponent. And with Recruiter, it's it's not like you get an extra copy of Necrovalley anymore, but you can get a card that gets commanded, or you can search commanded with Recruiter, which you now have more access to your 5 copies of Necrovalley, and you're seeing it time and time again, guys. I'm going to show you again. You're seeing the effect of the Trinity in the meta, because what the Trinity has basically what the Trinity has allowed is you now take decks, especially these upstart and upbeat anti-meta decks such as Stun and Hero City and Counter Fairies, these decks that always had consistency problems, especially when they had bad opening hands that would lose them games. You now see cards like Pot of Duality. Get them those better hands. Get them to their power cards, the Bountiful Artemises and the Stratos and the Royal Tributes turn 1. You now see Solemn Warning, a card where if they only had one monster on the field and a big synchro could mess them up, you now see this answer all card just, putting in so much work in these decks. You saw it with Hero Beat when it won a YCS, and you look at it on paper and you think, how did that beat, 900 other players? And it's because, these cards, Valor and Solemn Warning and Duality, gave them so much consistency. And when you add that with the surprise factor and the fact that nobody knows what to side for that deck or honestly how to play it, you have such an advantage. I actually watched Frazier's video on Jarrell's channel, and I honestly thought, man, this dude is, he's not one of those people who played Plant Synchro or Sabers and just won a big event because he just beat people. Like, he's a smart ass duelist. I said so many of those things he said, I've thought to myself, or I have said, at any given time. And I told you guys, this is why I like playing heroes so much, not to get sidetracked, but if you activate a card in your deck and your opponent has to read it, it's so beneficial to you, because not only do they not know how to counter it, they don't know what it does, they don't know how to play against it. Gravekeepers had this going for it all day. Cards like Royal Tribute. And let's pause for a second about Royal Tribute. I don't have one here, unfortunately. The card is so amazing. As he said, when you play against X-Sabers, what do you think about X-Sabers? Your most ideal hands basically are all monsters and that one big spell and trap removal. It's it's Foul Troll, it's Boggart Knight, and then random X-Saber, and then like Cold Wave or True Nade, cards that would allow you to summon those 3 monsters. Okay, well, if I play Royal Tribute on you, you lose all those monsters, and you're left with a junky ass Cold Wave or a junky ass True Nade. And Cold Wave doesn't even turn my Necrovalley off, so I don't really care. But anyways, when a Gravekeeper player sees something like that, not only have they basically just completely destroyed you, but they can now go aggressive. And that's why I like the fact that he played Starlight Road. The thing about his deck is, it's not just the fact that he can hit Dark Hole and Torrential and Mirror Force. It's the fact that after you play Royal Tribute, you know what your opponent has. You know they have that Mirror Force. So you can play into it. You can make your opponent use it. Yes, there's a chance that you could just randomly set Starlight and hope that they have the Mirror Force. But when you play Royal Tribute, guess what? You know they have the Mirror Force. I love the fact that he played Compulse in the main. I felt like it's amazing. It did make my top tech videos, and a lot of people questioned it, but guys, you're seeing it. It's a 1 card out to Shooting Star Dragon. It's a 1 card out to Stardust Dragon. This card is amazing. I put it in that video for a reason. People said it's bad this format. Not really. And when you think about Necrovalley, another reason why it's so good right now and why the deck had so much success, why Gravekeepers will have a lot of success for the rest of this format, at least for a while anyway. You think about the Magic and Trap hate people play. They play Cold Wave. They play True Nade. They play Trap Stun. They play 7 Tools of the Bandit and Royal Decree. Not a lot of people are playing 2 MSTs. Outside of Blackwings, I can't think of a deck that does. People are playing 7 Tools over MST. And it just makes this card so much better, because when you get this on the field, probably a very good chance against a typical Saber or a typical Plant Synchro, they're not going to be able to get rid of this for quite a while. And I like the fact that it gives almost a solidarity effect of, it takes these Gravekeepers like Assailant and Commandant and these weak beaters who are 15 who can't do anything, and it puts them at 2,000. I mean, these guys now can run over Thunder Kings. They can run over Stratoses and 1800s, and you know what I mean? It allows you to put a lot of pressure on the deck. And another reason why the deck is so effective, we all know Spy is basically the heart of the deck, but one of the biggest reasons the deck is so effective is it has a really good resistance to Book of Moon and to Solemn Warning. There's nothing in the deck that is that important enough as far as them getting off that they will be crippled if you warning. This deck doesn't try and synchro. It doesn't really have any boss monsters like a JD or a Fall Troll that if you Solemn Warn it, they're really, you know, in the toilet. You know what I mean? If you Solemn Warning their monsters, well, you're at 6,000 life points. They play Necrovalley, flip a Spy over, and get like a Assailant, and then normal summon a Commander or something. I mean, they almost have game on the field with Necrovalley. Necrovalley is giving them 1,500 attack, you know, 1,500 more attack on the board. So you really have to watch how you play Solemn Warning against a deck like that. And then Book of Moon just does absolutely nothing to them. You know, they don't really care if you book their monsters. Combating this deck, because, I mean, let's be real, at the next YCS, at your next regionals, you are going to play this deck. And I've play tested against it with my Hero Beat, and I might be dropping Hero Beat temporarily because it's such a horrible matchup. I play a bunch of 1900 guys, and they play their Necrovalley, and then all their guys are like 2,000, and it, you know, creates matchup problems. Not to mention my Cyber Dragon can't really get over, you know, spies and stuff like that if they have Necrovalley on the field anyway. Con Light, amazing card. Everything in the entire deck is dark, so you have to be looking at this guy. Unless you're running like Blackwings or something like that, amazing card. MST, a lot of people, again, don't even side deck this card. They just play like Decree or, you know, Cold Wave or whatever. Well, Cold Wave doesn't turn off Necrovalley, so you guys need to be looking at MST. If you're not maining a copy, you should be side decking too, to be honest. Nobleman of Crossout. I was watching DGen for Life's channel. He top 32'd with Blackwings at YCS Atlanta, and again, he did the same exact thing I did at my last regional. He main decked a copy of Nobleman of Crossout and said the same exact thing I did. Every deck in the format, except for Blackwings or maybe Hero Beat, if you play it, will massively set against you. You know what I mean? And Crossout is just an excellent card against this deck. If you hit the Spy, you're probably gonna win, to be completely honest. But the future of Gravekeepers. Now, obviously, since it won a YCS, it's kind of under the spotlight. Oh, by the way, Gale's down here because it's a card that I think it could actually be pretty good in the deck. I was shocked that he ran it, or that he did not run it. My mistake. And with such a low monster count, I felt like, you know, it gives you Arcanite plays. It opens some options up to get Arcanite or Armor Master on the field. I feel like it's a pretty good card. I mean, people might neck deck them, but, you know, I think this is worth tossing in there anyway. Anyways, I think their future is really bright because, to be completely honest, there are not that many good side deck cards against this deck. This is a deck that likes to sit on its defensive walls and likes to cripple you first turn with Royal Tribute plays, considering the deck only runs about 14 monsters, you know, and a lot of these decks like Sabers and Plant Synchro are running, you know, 20 or more. So I feel like until people really are trying to answer the first turn Necros, you know, the Necrovalley, like, this deck is going to be very successful. Or until Samurai come out. I feel like Samurai will smash this deck. I think it will just outspeed it, to be completely honest, unless they go first and do Royal Tribute. You know, there's nothing you can do if they do that against you. But to be completely honest, once they get Necrovalley on the field, considering people aren't playing Magic and Trap Removal like they should be, you know, the deck is still going to be very effective. I'm sorry this video took so long, but, you know, it was a lot to cover, guys. So thank you for watching my video, and I hope you enjoyed.